Hello, my beautiful collective. This is actually going to be an energy reading for this lunation that is taking place on April 17th. We're talking about the new moon in the sign of Aries, and we're going to go ahead and get into some oracle cards to see what exactly we need to focus on. We're going to see what we might be feeling at this time, how to cope with it, and the advice. Okay, so we're going to start with the oracle cards because they're all super Aries-like. So we have here throat release. Throat release, to me, it just speaks about, talking and living your truth, communicating your truth. This is about really expressing how you feel. So suppress anger or suppress, unspoken words. Like, let's say if you have been feeling some type of way about something, this is the clean slate. This is the opportunity to kind of like say what it is that you need to say in order for you to establish a new slate, like new boundaries, for you people to understand where is my line, right? So the throat release is really important because it just speaks about that pent up energy that needs to be communicated in whatever situation you might feel like is best fit. So feel, don't think is the second oracle card. And this is a really tricky one for me because when I hear feel, don't think, especially with all this Aries energy, I can feel the impulsivity being an issue. But at the same time, this is about allowing yourself to truly feel what it is that you need to feel without shame, right? To truly understand your emotions, your desires without the shame, okay? So that way you can magnify, what it is that you want to focus in your life. So if there's something that you really feel, but you're ignoring, Spirit is saying feel, don't think, right? Don't think about the logical part of it. Think about, okay, so this is my desire. I want to express this. I want to magnify this in my life. And sometimes in order for us to be able to, let's say, bring in new things into our lives, we have to leave behind the rational thinking and be a little bit on this more passionate daydreaming and our energy. So this is about, don't shut your own dreams. Don't shut your own desires because of a rational mind, because of what makes sense. Allow yourself to feel, allow yourself to dream. Okay, so lots of authentic energy here. This is about kind of like expressing what it is that you need to express to the world, right? With the throat release, and also allowing yourself to express and feel within, right? What is it that your feelings and your, desires are trying to tell you about your internal world, right? So that's really important because that's how we project, right? The way that we feel inside is the way that we project our external world. So if you're not focusing on the things that you truly want, and you're just kind of obeying by the rules, then you're constantly are going to feel, suppressed and trapped, so that's really, really important. And then another one, this is a message of encouragement here. And it speaks about you are bright, meaning you have great ideas, Aries. You are expressive. You are the first leader in the zodiac, and like the peacock, right? You have this beautiful energy to you that whenever you are allowed to shine, it really is show stopping. Okay, so this is about kind of bringing that energy to yourself. This new moon, it's not an easy one. Okay, this is not a reading about, oh, this is what you need to manifest. This is about navigating the emotions that we're feeling because of these really interesting transits that we're going through right now. And with the expression of Aries, Aries is all about, who am I? Right? I am the leader of the zodiac. How do I take action? Being that rulership of Mars, right? And at times, Aries can represent what is it that we're fighting for. So this is about aligning ourselves with the things that truly matter to us. So that way we do become that warrior that stands up for us, not that stands up for a cause that does not resonate with us, right? So how we might be feeling at this time, let's pick the tarot, 8 of Swords, right? That's that mental entrapment. This is the energy that can become very tough during this time because the 8 of Swords can speak about becoming a mental prisoner, okay? The mental prisoner, saying all of the worst case scenario, feeling like there is no way out, like there is no other way of doing life, of experiencing life. The Eight of Swords is a very self-sabotaging energy. So at this time, we're being challenged, and we might feel like this Eight of Swords ugly energy because we're being challenged to look at what have we created for ourselves, right? If the life that we're living is not truly giving us the happiness that we deserve, then it's time for us to see, okay, we have created this cocoon of, imprisonment that might feel like there is no way out. But in reality, there is, right? And that's where the feel don't think really comes into place, because we're going to think the way that we're programmed to think. But our feelings, our emotions, our intuition are trying to tell us something that we're not normally too open to, right? So Eight of Swords, that shows that mental anguish. You have your Temperance, okay? This is a beautiful card to see in this time, right? This is where some of us are going to dare to touch new waters, to dip our toes into foreign waters and see what we like. This is a card that shows we are willing to pour into our cup, even if it feels foreign, even if it feels weird, even if it feels unconventional to us. We're going to pour into our own cup because we're trying to seek this inner balance, right? Because the inside represents the outside, right? So if our external life is disbalanced, more than likely our internal world is too. You know what I mean? So when we gather this peace, this balance within, that's when we start making the shifts in our internal life. So Temperance is all about aligning mind, body, and spirit, about testing new waters and not just expecting things to change just because. This is about really daring to try new things and having this energy of, I have to pour to me before I pour to others, okay? So we have the mental imprisonment with the Eight of Swords. Then we have this energy of balance that's really showing up here with the Temperance. And sometimes with any of us, right? It doesn't matter what zodiac sign it is, but with any of us, we sometimes have to be pushed to that limit in order to say, okay, I'm not willing to tolerate this anymore, because we want to be the leaders on our lives, right? We don't want to quit. We don't want to be quitters. We don't want to be, labeled as losers or have shame because we maybe not accomplish something that in the world, the matrix, is supposed to be successful, right? Sometimes that pressure and that programming can really put us in positions where we're not willing to, admit to ourselves, this is not working for me. And it could be because you have invested so much time into something, or because, again, you have this societal pressure to need to comply to these things. And in this new moon, the whole thing, I just heard the word undress yourself and strip yourself of all of these expectations, of all of these pressures. Understand that you are ultimately the battery of your life. That is your soul. You are the person that is putting their legacy in front of them, right? You are putting your own legacy in front of you. So what does that legacy look like for you? Is it going to be corporate success for some of you guys? Maybe. Is it going to be having a softer life for some of you guys? Maybe. Is it going to be breaking generational traumas for some of you guys? Maybe. Whatever it is that aligns with you, what satisfies you. There's not a path for one person, right? It really does come to the individual. What serves you best, okay? And this is why we're so challenged around this lunation, because Aries is saying, no, this is not working. Okay, no, this is not working. You're going to feel this mental push and this pressure. You're going to feel it, because guess what? When we're talking about creating something really precious, let's say like a diamond, after the pressure comes the fire, right? And fire is purification. So this is what we need to align with our desires and be honest with ourselves, because sometimes that's the problem. It's like we might know our desires, but we're not honest with ourselves. We comply and we settle and we let ourselves live this life that is unfulfilling, and we don't admit that to ourselves. And this lunation is saying, no, there's a new beginning here. There's a spark here. There's an opportunity here. There's a quantum leap here. What are you going to do about it? You know what I mean? And that doesn't feel easy, you guys, okay? And we have here, oh my God, you guys, the Fool. Look at that. The Fool showing up, full blast. This is, again, the beginning of something new, the start of something new. This is not just the start of something new, right? This is also where we go back to that limitless potential, the number 0, the 0 point. This is where we need to understand that all of our wildest dreams, that all of our, basically the most ridiculous desire that you have, let's say you want to have a life where you work from home and you don't have to deal with customer service ever again. You know, as crazy as that might sound to some of us, maybe we feel like that's just not possible. This is saying it is. You just have to stop that restriction, telling yourself that it's not, telling yourself that you have to settle for these jobs, for these relationships. This is where the limitless potential comes to place, okay? Where you have to now work on the spirit of detachment, or work with the spirit of detachment. You detach from all of these expectations, from all of this societal pressure, from all of this identity, what has built your identity, right? And you detach, and you start detaching. This is not an easy process. This is not something that happens overnight, although it could. It's really up to you. You know what I mean? It's really up to you. What is your relationship with your attachments? What are the levels of your attachments? Those are really great questions for during this time, okay? What might pose as a challenge for us might be the 10 of Pentacles, okay? Ooh, this is a really interesting one. 10 of Pentacles posing as the challenge. This to me can show the responsibility. This is about tangible success, right? The Pentacles indicate money, stability, indicate putting the food on the table, right? For some of us, this is the burden, right? It could feel burdensome to need to collaborate, to have that material success. For some of you guys, maybe you guys are very, very successful, and the shift of transforming your life into something more minimalistic can be very, very, very challenging, especially if you have other people that rely on you, right? Because the 10 of Pentacles can indicate community, can indicate support systems, and at times it can indicate that you're the support system, right? 10 of Pentacles is essentially the material things, and not so exciting things, but the things that bring you stability, that brings you a solid foundation. So this card as a challenge can indicate that we might be too much in the dense world, too much involved in the matrix, too much putting all of our worth into material things, into social climbing, into, you know, societal expectations. That's a really repetitive thing that I keep saying because it keeps popping up in my mind with the reading. This American dream, let's say, you know, if you live in the United States, which is right now is an illusion, but the American dream, right? Having the white picket fence, the family, the corporate job, you know what I mean? Like the nice car, those things at times, they look good in paper, but they might not fulfill us, right? They might not fully fulfill us. You know, it could be that maybe some of you guys have, you know, gone through college, bachelor's, graduate degree, and now you're just not happy with your career. That's very much 10 of Pentacles as a burden, okay? And what this is saying is, you know, at times we have to understand that we built something and we invest into something, and that's a beautiful thing because it shows a level of commitment that we have had. But it's also okay for us to change our mind. And it's also okay for us to choose a different direction and say, I succeeded at this. I take it right here until this point. But now I'm a different person and I want to choose different for myself. And that does not make you a failure, okay? Whoever is in that position of investing so many, let's say, years into a job or a relationship or, you know, a way of life, let's say, and it doesn't resonate with you anymore, that is okay. You don't have to stay the same person. You are evolving, okay? You are the phoenix rising from the ashes, okay? You are purifying, purification, okay? That is what's happening here, all right? So yes, it could feel like we might have to walk away from things that we have really held a lot of love, passion, and value for. Those things might not resonate with us anymore, okay? The advice. Oh my gosh. You have here the High Priestess as the advice, guys. High Priestess as the advice. This is about making time for stillness. So in the midst of all of this really high energy that could feel quite exhausting, this is about holding time for stillness, listening to the whispers of your intuition, and listening to what you truly want without the influence of the world. The High Priestess can mean also hidden communication. So it could be that you are receiving messages from your higher self, from your spirit guides. For some of you guys, this could be an actual physical message coming your way from an individual, from someone, from an institution, whatever it is. It could be this unexpected news being basically exposed at this time. But the High Priestess is a sense of holding stillness throughout the madness, okay? Because at times we have to, again, feel and not think. And we have to allow ourselves to honor our emotions, to really, understand it's okay for me to sit here with my emotions. I don't have to be reactive all the time. The High Priestess it is a passive energy. It is the energy of inner knowing, of inner and higher understanding. And this is what we need to do in order to cope with the energy of the Aries new moon, okay? Granted, yes, fantastic time for manifestations, for setting intentions, but this is not the reading for you if you're looking for that. This reading is about how do we cope with the high emotions that are coming with this lunation. This is what it's talking about. All day today, I have felt very scattered, very much called to sit with myself and understand why is my energy has been like this, right? And it's because this is a very fiery energy. It's an energy that wants you to run, but at the same time, maybe some of us are too tired, exhausted to actually run. And in order for us to really gain this alignment in this direction, then we need to be in the space of stillness so we can understand what changes are happening from our internal world. Okay. So with much love, my loves, please let me know if this lunar reading resonated with you. And if it did, I would love a comment, a like, a subscribe. I would love to hear your thoughts, and I will see you guys on your next reading. Thank you. Bye-bye.